Hello, Namaskar friends. My name is Amol Singh. I'm a student of Aligarh Muslim University, Mallapuram Center from the Department of Education. Today in this video, I shall be talking about the topic blended learning. Blended learning is its advantage and limitation. Okay, so let's go further. Now, first of all, let's understand the meaning of word blended. Okay, so blended means mix, mixture, mixed type of learning. Now, how it is mixed type of learning? You know, there are many words which are used for blended learning. One is hybrid learning, okay, hybrid learning, and flipped learning, okay. These are the words used for this type of learning. Now, what is means? What is this blended learning? Now, the definition of this blended learning is says that blended learning is an educational approach that combines traditional face-to-face classroom methods with online learning. It means in blended learning, we combine face-to-face learning with online learning. It means that further they're talking that it involves the integration of online learning and offline learning. In simple words, we can say the integration of online and offline learning. Okay, offline learning components, okay, allowing for flexibility and individualized learning pathways, okay. So combination of or integration of online learning and offline learning for flexibility and individualized support, okay. So now let's go further. You can see these pictures, okay. Here these students are learning using this laptop. So it means that their teacher is sitting at some other point, one point, and these students are sitting at different points, okay. Now for example, this is laptop, and then these students are sitting here. Their teacher is sitting here at another corner, and delivering the lectures. So this type of learning, learning which is done using these ICT tools is termed as blended learning. Okay. So now now after understanding this, we can go further and talk about the advantage of the blended learning. Now, what are its advantages? Its advantages are that it increase flexibility and accessibility. Okay, flexibility and accessibility. Flexibility in the sense blended learning empowers students to learn at their own pace, and revisit materials as needed. For example, the students can rewatch the session, and if they did not understand, in one time, then they can revisit it for the second time, and as many times as they want to read or to go through that material. So okay, so it is flexible for this student. Now they can learn at their own pace, means with their own speed, and can revisit that material also, can go through it again and again. Okay. Now the second point, resources are accessible anytime. Okay, they can access this material anytime, anywhere. Okay, and with this, now this point is one is flexibility. Now let's talk about the accessibility. The word accessibility. Okay, so it means that they can access this their content anytime from anywhere, and this eliminates geographical barriers. Geographical barrier means from the from any parts of the country they can access it. Now what is the third point? third point says that content and activities can be tailored to individual learning. Means this content, can be, this fosters the needs of the individualized learning. Okay, and gives them a personal learning experience. Okay, and now in the fourth point is that this is very interactive and multimedia. For example, how it is interactive, because they're now, for example, you can see this ppt, and these pictures are there, this pictures is there, and this content is also there, so it is very much interactive, eye catching. So in that sense, making learning more engaging. Okay, this is not like earlier where teacher is, is writing everything on the board and just explaining everything here, like, everything here. Now we are using pictures, we are using videos, everything we are using. Okay, why? Because to make it more engaging. Okay, so now the another advantage is that it enhances learning outcome. Okay, the result of learnings are more. Okay, now how are they? We get, the maximum output. Blended learning facilitate active learning, because it's more engaging, and develop critical thinking, encourage critical thinking, result in deeper understanding of the subject matter. So they can understand it easily, and for a and can, go through the topic in a very, they can go at depth, in the depth of the topic. Okay, now another is it the integration of different learning methods reinforce concept and improve long-term retention. In terms of retention also, it increases the retention capability, the capacity of the student. Blended learning now again provides student with opportunity to develop essential technology. Now we are living in the 21st century, so we have to have we have to have the skills of the 21st century. So it enhances and develop the skills of the 21st century, like, using these computers, using technology, learning them to access, and allowing them and making them as a part of our daily activities. Okay, now blended learning, allows for increased teacher student interaction. With this, teacher and student interaction can be increased, fosters more collaborative learning environment, like, democracy and some values of democratic values, collaboration and cooperation. These types of values are developed among the students. Okay, now let's talk about some, after talking about the advantage, let's talk about its disadvantage or its limitation, technology requirement and access. Okay, now, what is the one? What's the first point in this? This is unequal access to technology. Okay. Now, unequal access to technology. For example, these students. You can see these students. Okay. Now, this everybody is having this laptop, but in case, let us suppose that this is only one laptop. Okay, and these two students can, they're studying through this laptop, learning through this laptop, but on the other hand, these students are not having any gadgets to learn. Then how would they learn? So in, in case of unequal access to technology and the internet can create disparities. It can demotivate them, and can reduce and can restrict their opportunities of learning. Okay, now hardware and software. Now they are talking about the, these technology itself, that, when they are not working properly, the combination of hardware and software is not proper, then it can disrupt the learning process. You know, then, negatively affects affects this process. Okay, now effective implementation of blended learning required. Now, in this topic they are talking about that, to effectively use this type of learning, that's blended learning, a teacher should be expert. Only then they can, guide the students. So it is very much necessary to be, teachers should be expert in using these tools or this type of learning. Implement and maintaining blended learning infrastructure can be expensive, posing a financial barriers for some schools and institutions. Now, all schools are not, capable enough to provide these, ICT facilities. So it makes them, accessing these facilities, it becomes, expensive. So it, increase the finance burden upon the administration. Okay. Now, for the limitation for implementation, for implementing these and this type of learning or these ICT tools, there are some challenges. What is the first challenge? The first challenge is that adapting traditional curriculum for a blended format requires significant effort in time. Now, if this type of learning is a little bit different, then the curriculum and the TLM should also be different. So it needs effort in time and necessitating a comprehensive curriculum redesign process. Now, successful blended learning requires a strong time management skills. We have to devote time to each activities. So, strong management of the time should also be there. Otherwise, it will take more time to deliver the content. Now, what is the third point? Students need to be self-motivated and disciplined to engage with the online learning. In the online learning, physical support is not there. No, that's why students should be motivated from within. And for this, we have to make the TLM or make the content very much interactive so that they have the motivation, they can be motivated and can be encouraged to learn. Okay. Now, develop appropriate assessment. Now, when this type of learning is different, then of course their assessment way of the assessment method should also be different. So, now it is still a challenging process to assess these students. So we have to look for that option also. Okay. Now, best practice for effective blended learning. Some practice are there that we can, that we can implement for the effective blended learning. Ensure that online and offline learning activities align with the specific learning goals, making them more relevant and meaningful to students. Okay. For effective blended learning. Now, relevant, meaningful material should be there. The content should be there. Utilize multimedia and interactive elements to create engaging content that capture student attention. Utilize multimedia and interactive elements to create engaging content that captures student attention. So what it is saying in this part is that, that must be maintain consistent communication with the student through, while teaching, we have to maintain the, continuous communication so that student feel motivated. Okay. Continuous assess the effectiveness of blended learning approach and make adjustment as needed. According to the flexibility of the student, we have to go further. Okay, so we can, in this way we can implement this topic. Now, conclusion. What is the conclusion is that, while, learning offer while learning this means while learning through this type of method, we have to be very much, look we have to be very much careful and look at the advantage and consider the advantage as well as the disadvantage of this method. So teachers should be very much expert, and overcoming its limitation requires careful planning, implementation and ongoing evaluation. Okay. So ongoing evaluation means consistent evaluation is necessary to implement this topic. Okay, students, so thank you very much. See you in the next video. Have a nice day.